Good evening, comrades. So back at the end of 1993, I was one of 4 people that helped set up Perth City Farm. Yep, you're welcome. Yep. I managed it for 3 years and, you know, I was really dedicated to the cause. We were a great bunch of friends. It's still there. But, you know, back then, you know, it was quite different. No weddings, no farmers markets. But, you know, we were very passionate about it. But I was 21 years old. So I was still partying pretty hard. So back in 1993, I was really giving it some, even though, you know, when we launched it in 1994, and I was like, yeah, this is really great. I was still going out about 5 nights a week and getting home at about 6 a.m. in the morning. So one Friday morning, I got a call from my good friend Paul, and he'd moved to Bridgetown about 6 months prior to be with the love of his life, magic mushrooms. And he called me and said, Buster, I'm going to be hitching up from down south and you know, I want to come and catch up with you tonight. And I went, yeah, man, hitch away, I'll be here. You know, it was good. And at that time, I'd managed it for 3 years, and for the first 18 months, I was actually living there in the different warehouses. It was great fun. You know, I moved from different room to room in the different warehouses and ended up what's now the City Farm Cafe. Yeah. And I set the bar pretty low for livable space when I was that old, you know, it was fine. But it was only a few minutes from Northbridge, so, you know, I'd sort of, you know, have a few drinks and then head into the, you know, the nightlife and have a good time. So Paul turned up at about 5 p.m. and I was happy to see him. It was really good to, you know, catch up. And we went to the, into this brick shed, which was my lounge room. And we sat down, had a couple of beers, I rolled a spliff, and we were sitting down having a joint, and he was telling me about this Christian that gave him a lift and wanted to convert him, and I thought, oh, Paul's not the kind of guy that you want to go to your church. So we're sitting there having a laugh. I'd put on some music, you know, to set the mood, and then Paul jumps up out of the couch and said, Buster, I just forgot. I've got a surprise for you. And I like surprises. What is it? And he stands back and he starts undoing his pants, and I was like, stop. Define surprise. And Paul said, you won't regret it. And he starts sticks his hand down his pants and starts fishing around. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, it's all right, it's all right. Oh shit, it's moved to the back. And he put his hand down the back of his pants, he was fishing around. And he pulled out this bag and threw it to me. And of course, you know, someone throws something at you, you've got to catch it. It was warm and moist. And I dropped it. And I thought, ooh, what's that? I picked it up. It was a bag of magic mushrooms. And I opened it up and went, ooh, Paul, that smells a bit spicy. Do you think they're okay? And he was like, yeah, they're fine, Buster, they're fine. I was like, okay. I'll leave them for later, Paul. I'll put them in the fridge. We had a few more drinks, bit of a boogie. And then Paul decides, I've got a party to go, so off he goes into Northbridge. I decide, I'm going to get an early night. You know, Saturdays are my time. I get to lock the gates at City Farm and have fun. Put on music in the big warehouse and dance around on my own. I woke up early and I felt great, you know. It was a beautiful summer's day in 1994 in February. You know, the weather was really warm in the morning. At about 8 o'clock in the morning, I started to think, what am I going to do today? There's nothing happening at City Farm on Saturdays. And I thought, ooh, there's a bag of mushrooms in the fridge. And by about 8:30, I'd eaten them all. There was about 2 handfuls. And if you know anything about mushrooms, that's a lot. But I was all right. I was fine. I had nothing to do. I was safe inside my safe space at City Farm. Yeah. I got my beanbag. I put it out in the sun. Got my ghetto blaster. put on some Run DMC. So this is going to be fantastic, you know. Scoff these mushrooms. It was probably about 9:15. And it's memory. Oh, it's my parents' wedding anniversary. Oh, isn't that lovely? Another memory. They're coming to pick me up at 9 to go to breakfast in Leederville. And at this point, I was sitting there in the beanbag going, whew, fuck. My parents are great. I love them very much. I really, you know, I had a really good connection to them, especially my mum, who's no longer with us. I miss her a lot. That's all right. But at that time, you know, there was just something about them that I really had I used to lean on them a lot, and I hated disappointing them. I really didn't want to disappoint them, but I'd taken a lot of fucking mushrooms. A lot. They'd been sitting in my tummy for about 45 minutes. Oh, no, sorry, half an hour, but still, they were there. And I thought, I've got to call them. There were no mobile phones around in 1994, so I ran into the warehouse to get to the landline, fucking dialed the number. It rang out. Fuck, dialed it again. Same thing. I said, fuck, what am I going to do? I started feeling this gurgling going into my stomach. And I was like, oh, fuck. Maybe I can vomit. No, that was a gift from Paul. I thought, I'll be fine. I'm a soldier. So I thought, I'll come up with a fucking excuse. I'll disappoint them, but it's okay, I've got to take this. So I thought, I'll just tell them I'm sick. I'll go out, I'll cough, and I'll say I'm sick and I can't come to your anniversary. Anyway, I thought, right. So I opened the door of the warehouse and I looked out and there's my folks at the gate in the car. Of course, they turn up early. And there's my mum, she got into the car and she's waving at me. Oh. So I walk up to the gate. Look, sick, Nez. You got a plan? Stick to the plan. So I walk up to the gate. I'm like, oh. And I'm about to do that. And my mum just grabs me in a hug and squeezes me tight, like she's squeezing my soul, and she fills my body with love. I just hang in there as the mushrooms start to kick in. And she squeezes my cheeks, oh, I love you, and gives me a kiss on the cheek and says, okay, get in. I'm like, okay, mommy. I get in the car, and as we drive off, there's all these rainbow fucking streaks forming out of the trees, and I'm like, this wasn't the fucking plan, Buster. We get to Leederville, and I'm walking along, my parents are in front of me, and I'm like, you know, I've got no fucking idea what I look like when I'm walking on mushrooms, but I think I'm kind of walking like this. Am I on an angle? So I kind of walk and I look in the window of a shop, and I'm just a fucking wobbly mess. I don't know if any of you remember a place called Bianchi's on Oxford Street. You remember that? Maybe, maybe not. Anyway, it was like an Italian-style cafe. Surprise. And I walked in there, and it's kind of like, it was quite dim in the internal bit. It was like walking through a fucking swamp with these weird fucking toads. But I was like, this is just the mushrooms, Buster. This is just the mushrooms, it's fine. So I thought, act normal. So I was like, waving and saying hi to people I didn't even fucking know. We went out to the alfresco area, and there's all these ornate Roman sculptures. We sit down at this table, and I look over, there's fucking Zeus next to me. There's water coming out of his mouth. No, really, there was. It was a water feature. And I was sitting there, and I could hear this, psst. I looked over, and there's Zeus, and he goes, they fucking know. Buster, it's the mushrooms. I look over, they're going to call the cops. No, I'm fine, I'm good. I'm sitting down, and my parents, they're starting to turn kind of like a bit opaque, and I believe I can kind of see through them. I think they're kind of looking at each other, but I'm not really sure. Maybe they're not. But then they're looking at each other and sort of talking about me. Maybe they're not. I don't know what's going on. But I sit there, and then the waitress comes over. She's purple. I'm not looking at her. She puts the thing down on the menu down on the table. I'm like, would you like a coffee first? I'm like, yeah, have a latte? I thought I did really well. I thought that was a really good coffee order considering how fucked up I am. She said, okay, off she goes. And my parents are like, what would you like to eat, love? And I'm like, let's have a look. I open the menu and it's like a colony of ants crawling over this blank piece of paper. Down my hands, I'm like, I'm looking at these ants crawling to my sleeves. I'm like, fuck. I put the menu down. I'm like, I know exactly what I want, Mum and Dad. It's fine. And they're like, are you okay? And I said, no, I'm fine. I'm feeling a little bit ill, but I'm all right. We can take you home if you like. No. It's your anniversary, and I love you, and this is what it's all about. We're here together. I started to feel this gurgling in my stomach. I sort of scratched my face. I'm like, my face is numb. Am I scratching it too hard? Am I starting to bleed? And I started to feel it. I'm like, yeah, my face is numb, and all my nerves were on fire. They were jumping out of whatever holds onto your nerves in your body. I don't know, I'm not a scientist, but those things. And my nerves are just like, oh. And I was like, oh dear. The woman comes over, have you decided what you want to eat? I'll have the bangers and mash. That's not on the menu. So I look at the menu, which is just an ant colony, and I sort of rub my chin like I'm pretending like I know what the fuck is going on. I'll have the pancakes, no ice cream. Okay. I'm sitting back and I'm sort of looking around the people, and the walls are starting to kind of melt, and there's a river of custard flowing through the alfresco area, and I'm like, yummy. My dad said with his dog face, you right there? And I shouted back, yeah, I'm fine. What's with your dog face? I couldn't look at them, but they were changing colours and everything was starting to get a bit weird. Ooh, and then the waitress turns up and she's got these plates, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? She puts the plates down. This didn't really happen, but a rat fucking ran out from under the plates, and I went, ah! I was like, I think I've got a cramp. I've got a cramp. And my parents were like, oh dear. And I was like, ooh, that was really sore. And I was sort of sitting there, and things were starting to fall to pieces. I could feel this weird Mandelbrot fractal starting to form around my peripheral vision. And I just thought, I've got this. I've done this before. I'm fine, and I'll be all right. And I just thought, no, I'm not fine. I'm falling to pieces. And then I thought, I don't know what the fuck's going on. I think either I need to vomit or piss. Either one, I'm not sure, but I need to get out of here. So I said, excuse me, I've got to go to the toilet. And I ran into the bathroom, and I opened the door and got into the one cubicle, which I don't even know if it was a cubicle, but took a few breaths. I'm going to be all right. Just got to get through breakfast. If you've got the pancakes, if you eat, drunk the coffee, you're fine. Okay. And I thought, I've got to do something. I'll piss. So I walked up to the toilet. I looked down. I screamed, ah! And for a second there, I thought my body was consuming my penis. Anyway, I just thought, no, it's just the mushrooms. For those of you who don't know, when you take hallucinogens, your penis retreats into the body. Like it's preparing for war. And that's exactly what I was doing. I was preparing for war with myself, with my mind, with a restaurant. So I hate disappointing my parents, and I tried to squeeze a little trickle. Got this pathetic little trickle out, wouldn't even pass the splash test. I was like, oh, fuck it, I did it. Okay, walked up to the sink, splashed my face with water. That's right, I splashed my face with water, but without washing my hands. Yeah. Anyway, I just touched my penis, if you hadn't realised. I felt so fucking good. And then I thought, I'll do it again. I felt so good, and I thought, I think I'm going to be okay. And I looked at myself in the mirror. I think I'm going to be. And I caught my eyes in the reflection of my eyes, and everything melted away, and everything was just pulsating, bright lights, and then bang! The door opened and hit the wall of the toilet, and it was someone else wanting to have a piss. I was like, bang, and I was straight back to reality. I was still wasted, but no swirly spirals or colours, right? And I was like, I've got to get the fuck out of here. So I sort of walked out the door, and I was like, Mum, Dad, I've just vomited really badly. I love you very much. I've got to go. Sorry, don't give me a lift. I need to get out of here. I'm fine. I love you, have a good anniversary. And off I went out through the restaurant. I felt like I was walking through a swamp. I got out the door onto Oxford Street. It was really busy, I think, when people really liked Leaderville back then. So I walked out and I walked down towards the freeway, moving around people, got across into West Leaderville and then completely lost control and completely lost reality of where I was. And I literally was wandering around for at least 2 hours, not knowing where the fuck I was, even though I knew that area really, really well. I looked up at the sky and it was swirling around with black clouds and there were witches and they were all laughing at me going, this is the end of the fucking world. So I sat down on the curb and started to cry, going, no, this isn't the end of the world. You've done this before. What's wrong with you? Anyway, I was sitting there and I've got no idea who this was because I was hallucinating far too much. But someone pulled up beside me in the car and said, yo, Buster, you good? And I was like, fuck no, look at me. I'm crying. I got in that car and I said, take me back to City Farm. And I got back to City Farm. I still have no idea who that person was. None of my friends have owned up to it. And I slept until Sunday afternoon. And I got up and I was, this wasn't my first mushroom rodeo, no way. I rode that horse quite a few times. I woke up and what the fuck went wrong? What went wrong? Why? Why did I react in that way? What made me turn into this, made me sort of forget all these things and end up in the restaurant with my parents off my face. And then I thought, hang on a second. My mate Paul hitched from Bridgetown with a bag of mushrooms under his nuts or in between his butt cheeks. And then I ate them. I'd been poisoned by my friend's nether regions. Thank you.